Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm back with a Nutribullet Chill. It's an ice cream maker that could give the Ninja Creami a run for its money. Let's see how it works in today's video, starting with the unboxing. Let's take a look at the Nutribullet Chill ice cream maker. I paid 150 bucks for this. Now this one came out in April of 2026 as an apparent competitor to the Ninja Creami. Registration card, QR code, quick start guide, welcome card, user guide, lid, one cup, and a lot of packaging. It's like another cup with an assembly attached to it and more packaging. And this is everything. Now they say it has 5 presets, including ice cream, sorbet, gelato, smoothie bowl, and frozen yogurt. They sell these in 5 different colors. I got the nice generic white. They say there's no hidden parts and no hidden buildup. All the components are top rack dishwasher safe. Now people online who liked it, they say it's easy to use, easy to clean, takes up less counter space than the Creami. Now those who didn't like it, some people says it always leaves a bit of unusable portion at the bottom. Some people didn't like that you have to prepare your mixture in advance, which is the same thing for the Creami. Some people say there's a learning curve. And a lot of people didn't like that they only could make 2 cups at a time. One interesting notice is some people said it was too loud and some people said it wasn't as loud as they expected, so we'll have to figure that one out too. So I'm gonna clean all these parts off, read all this stuff over, and then we'll get started. Let's first take a look at the control panel and see how that looks. Now, there really is not much to it. They have, actually this is a sticker on here. This sticker lifts up, but it has, it says ice cream, sorbet, frozen yogurt, gelato, smoothie bowl, and the power button right here. Place your cups upside down in here with this blade assembly attached to it. It looks kind of menacing actually. I also noticed there are suction cups on the bottom. So because its main function is an ice cream maker, I figured I'd start off with 2 ice cream recipes first. These are supposed to be easy, so let's see if that's the case. First up is a coffee ice cream recipe. I set it up last night. For the setup process last night, it said to, in a saucepan, add 240 grams of milk, 120 grams of heavy cream, and dissolve 90 grams of sugar. After cooling it in the fridge, add the cooled mixture and 8 grams of instant coffee to a blender and blend until smooth. I placed it in the freezer overnight. It's been 24 hours now. It's time to blend it. Now, what's interesting about this is multiple places in the instructions it says if you don't blend it within 5 minutes from removing it from the freezer, you can damage the unit. Seems a little bit sensitive now, doesn't it? All right, I have my coffee mixture out of the freezer. Now, it looks like it kind of separated a little bit overnight. Maybe that doesn't matter, but I did notice it. I'm kind of under the gun here. I got to do this within 5 minutes. It's certainly frozen. Now what we're supposed to do is install the blade onto the cup first. Oh, the other thing is that there's a minimum maximum fill lines on here. They say you can't go above or below it or you can damage the unit. Seems to be easily damaged. So now we just stick it on here, press down and turn clockwise to lock into place. Ooh, immediately turned on and I saw some words there for a second. The control panel went back off. Let's see if we can get this back on here. I'm supposed to press the desired program and then press the start button. I want ice cream, and then start. Well, it's kind of loud. Now supposedly it's going to stop and start a few times during its cycle, which is normal. I don't really see much. There's not much to see. It's kind of anticlimactic as far as that goes. I guess I have to wait. There's one last little pulse at the end there. Now it beeps, it's supposed to be done. They also said if it's crumbly, you can run it through another cycle. Now there's a release button right here I press. Press and release while turning it counterclockwise to detach the motor base. It is kind of interesting how the entire blade is attached like that. I'll also point out that I had my dB meter and it was roughly 80 decibels standing next to it. I even got readings as high as 85, so it's not quiet. It is not quiet. But there is a progress bar which is kind of helpful, so you can keep an eye on kind of how long you have left. So let's take this out of here. Oh, and this is kind of warm too. And oh, it looks creamy. We have some creamy ice cream. I was expecting crumbly. I did not get crumbly. There does seem to be a little bit in the bottom that wasn't blended, but I guess you really can't get all the way to the bottom or it would scratch it. But this looks kind of creamy. Let's take a look at this more closely. What do you guys think? That looks like ice cream to me. I've had so many experiences where it comes out crumbly. I was really expecting that. It does not look crumbly at all. It looks nice. Now for the taste test. Well, that is coffee ice cream. It's weird. There really didn't seem like there was that much instant coffee in there, but that's a strong coffee flavor, but it's good. All right, well, I think my first test was a resounding success. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean off this blade, which has ice cream on it. I'm gonna transfer this to another container because I'm gonna definitely have that later. And then we'll move on to recipe number 2 today before I set up tomorrow's test. Next up, I wanna try some Nutella ice cream. Not only did it seem easy, tasty, but I also tasted some Nutella ice cream recently in my Freakin' 2 channel. I'm kinda curious how that compares. But to set up the Nutella, it said in a saucepan, add milk and cream and dissolve the sugar and then cool in the fridge. Then they said to add the cool mixture and Nutella into a blender and blend until smooth. Freeze it overnight and we're ready to rock. I've rinsed off the blade, pull this out of the freezer. Once again, a little bit of separation, probably not a big deal. Attaching the blade assembly. It's weird, it's almost like an upside down creamy with the pint upside down like that. Very interesting, but it seems to work. And start. All right, pressing the release button, removing the pint, removing the blade. Ow, that's kind of warm. That's warmer than I thought. I don't know if ow was really warranted, I just reacted to it. I would not call that crumbly, although it is certainly not as creamy as the first batch, but let's try it out. What do you guys think? Ice cream? Ice cream. It probably just needs to sit out for a minute or two to soften up, but taste-wise, it's excellent. It tastes just like Nutella ice cream. Nutella ice cream just came out recently, by the way, and I taste tested that on my Freakin' 2 channel if you want to check that out. But this ice cream is quite good. It's not quite the same thing as the Nutella ice cream that's out there, but it does taste like Nutella ice cream. And I would say my first 2 tests of the ice cream preset have been a resounding success. Neither one of them required respinning like most of the other ice cream makers I've tried in the past, so I give it credit for that. It's pretty simple. There's only a couple buttons on here. I mean, the only thing I really don't like is this preparation process. You have to prepare way in advance. A lot of the recipes you have to put in a saucepan, then chill in the fridge, then blend up, and then put it in there in the freezer for overnight. That's kind of a lot. But so far, the end results may have been worth it. But my next 2 recipes will not be ice cream. I'm gonna use other presets. So I'm gonna clean all this up and prepare for that. All right, it is day number 2 of testing out the Nutribullet Chill. And I have a couple of notes before I get to the next round. Now, last night, I actually tried both ice creams that I made yesterday when the cameras were off, just to have a second look at them. And I really enjoyed them. The texture was nice. There were no inconsistencies or texture problems. Now, I've tried a lot of ice cream makers over the years, and I don't think I've ever had one where the first 2 batches came out perfectly the first time without a second spin. I don't know how much that's due to recipe, but either way, I was quite happy with day number 1. Now, for day number 2, I wanted to try out a couple more presets. I want to try some fruit-based recipes. So I'm doing raspberry mango, sorbet, and gelato. But I have to say, because I prepared them yesterday, I have to say, the amount of preparation for what ended up being about a half pint of sorbet or gelato was almost comical. Now, I measured all the ingredients out to the exact gram called for in the recipes, and for some reason, they barely even cleared the minimum fill line on the containers. So I don't really know what's up with that. I'm hoping that they're good, but the amount of prep work seemed completely off balance from what I'm getting. Because not only is it freezing at 24 hours in advance, but you also have to, in some cases, use a saucepan and then chill it in the fridge and then pull out a blender. I mean, it's kind of a lot. And then you get a half pint. I don't know about that. But let's head inside for day 2 and see how these go. Let's start off the next round with a couple fruit-based recipes. First up, a refreshing raspberry sorbet. I prepared this yesterday. The recipe includes puree 300 grams of raspberries and 120 milliliters of water until smooth. Press the mixture through a fine mesh strainer and discard the seeds. Return the puree to the blender and add 30 milliliters of lime juice, 45 milliliters of agave nectar, 30 milliliters of honey, and 5 milliliters of vanilla extract. Blend until fully combined. Pour the mixture into the cup and freeze for 24 hours, and here we are. As noted before, it seems like that was kind of a lot of work for basically a half pint of sorbet. So it better blow my mind or it won't be worth it. But let's grab it out of the freezer and see how it goes. All right, here we go. Now, as I noted yesterday, there's the minimum fill line. I mean, it barely cleared that. I measured it as the recipe called for, it's just not that much. So the next step is to attach the cup to the motor base. Adding to the unit. Now we're going to hit the sorbet button. Pressing sorbet and start. See how long this takes. And now we wait. All right, so my stopwatch is showing 4:17. The 2 ice creams yesterday took about 3.5, so a little longer. Also, this one stopped 3 times during the program, while the ice cream stopped once during the program yesterday, so a little bit of difference there. Let's see how it turned out. I'm kind of excited. Was all of my work worth it? We shall see. Pressing the release button. This reminds me of like the thing that in the Matrix that went in the back of their heads for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, texture-wise, that looks pretty nice. What do you guys think about that? Does that look like a sorbet to you? Let's taste it. That's a strong raspberry flavor. It's like almost like just straight raspberry. I mean, it came out good. It's a little bit sour. There's not a lot of ice crystals in there. I don't get a lot of seeds because I did strain those seeds out. Consistency-wise, I think it came out perfect. It's a pretty good recipe. I'm still not sure it was worth all that work I did, but the final result is good. I will certainly enjoy finishing this off. And once again, unlike other things I've tried in the past, I didn't have any problems. It wasn't too crumbly. I didn't have to respin it. I'm not sure if they've just got the recipes really fine-tuned or if this just does a really good job. Either way, I'm 3-0 as far as I'm concerned. I've got to clean this off and we'll move on to the next round, which is mango. I'm starting to think Creamy might have a little run for its money here because this is it's like an upside down Creamy that's smaller, simpler to use, and with stellar results. So far, so good. My next recipe, also on the website, is a mango gelato. That one I prepared last night, and here's how that went. In a saucepan, add 110 grams of whole milk and 40 grams of heavy cream and dissolve 70 grams of sugar. Cool the mixture in the fridge, and then add the cooled mixture and 230 grams of frozen mango into a blender and blend until smooth. Next up, you pour it in a cup and freeze it overnight, which I've done. Now it's time to start mangoing. All right, let's open this up. That's what it looks like inside. In about 3 or 4 minutes, we should have some delicious gelato. Let's see. Attaching the pint cup to the motor base. Check. Adding it to the unit itself. Twist into place. All right, you're gonna select the gelato preset and start. Stopwatch is going. Come back in about 3 or 4 minutes. I ain't getting no rest 'cause I'm going. 3:22 for that program. Interestingly, the ice cream stopped once through its program, the sorbet 3 times. This one didn't stop at all. Let's check it out here. Right, here is the texture of the gelato itself. Visually, it looks really nice, but I didn't make this to look at. I made it to eat it. Here we go. My first thought is creamy, which is a good thing. It's pretty dense. It has just the right texture to it. The recipe is good, but the texture is what I'm more worried about, and the texture is really nice. Very thick and ice cream-like texture. I think that they did a nice job once again. We're 4-0. We are 4-0 so far after 2 days. I'm kind of keeping note of pros and cons as I go, but I want to go for 1 more day, 2 more recipes, 2 more different presets before I wrap this thing up. So I'm going to prepare some more recipes tonight, and we'll come back and hit it again tomorrow. Until then, I've got plenty of desserts to enjoy with my meals, and I look forward to what tomorrow brings. All right, it is day number 3, time for recipes number 5 and 6. These are also recipes I posted online. First one is a chocolate banana smoothie bowl, and here's how that setup went. In a blender, combine 3/4 cup of unsweetened almond milk, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened coconut yogurt, 1 tablespoon of agave nectar, 1 banana, protein powder. Now they say 2 grams in the recipe. I think that's a typo. That didn't seem like enough for a protein bowl. I found a similar recipe online that called for 2 tablespoons, so I used that. And also 2 teaspoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. Blend until smooth, put in the freezer overnight, and here we go. I think the first 2 ice cream recipes I did were pretty high up on the max fill line. These other ones have been kind of on the lower side. Maybe it doesn't matter. There's what it looks like after freezing overnight. It smells like chocolate and banana. Attaching the blade. Locked and loaded. What just fell? For this one, we're pressing the smoothie bowl option and start. Stopwatch is going. Now we wait. I ain't getting no rest 'cause I'm... All right, I am showing 4.5 minutes, a little bit longer than the other programs. What's also interesting is I didn't see any activity above this level right here. I'm assuming there was, but it didn't really make any difference on it visually from the outside. Could this have been a failure, or I'm doubting the great Nutribullet? Let's see. Once again, that's kind of a little bit warm. Now this is supposed to be a smoothie bowl, so let's move into a bowl for the full effect. By the way, that was shaking quite a bit during that particular program. I don't know why, but good thing they have suction cups in the bottom because it was shaking the whole table. And here's how it looks. Now they say it's supposed to have the consistency of kind of slightly firm ice cream, but still yields to a spoon, which it does. So it's kind of hard to tell because every recipe is different. Let's see how this tastes. Speaking of recipe, I mean, I kind of like the recipe. I don't know if I love it. The banana saves it. The rest of the ingredients are a little bit on the blander side. I know they're trying to make a protein bowl out of this, and I add a little bit of extra protein. I probably shouldn't have done that. In fact, I would have just left the protein out altogether. I think that's probably the weakest of the ingredients. But the recipe has no bearing on the actual unit itself, which performed nicely as far as I can tell. We are 5-0. I have one more to do, so let's go get that set up and get started. All right, it's time for my final recipe here. That is the orange creamsicle frozen yogurt. That's what it looks like today. And here's how the setup went last night. In a medium bowl, whisk together 1.5 cups of vanilla whole milk yogurt, a half teaspoon of orange zest, a quarter cup of orange juice, a quarter cup of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of agave nectar, a half teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 0.3 grams of kosher salt. Pour the mixture into a chill cup and freeze overnight. We will select the frozen yogurt preset and hit start. Stopwatch is going. As we wait, I'll step away to save my eardrums.
I ain't getting no rest 'cause I ain't getting no
4:34 for the final time on that one. Now this one for the first time seems a little bit on the crumbly side. Now to me that looks crumbly. In their troubleshooting in the back it says if it's normal for some recipes to appear dry and crumbly. If you would like to further soften your recipe, we recommend running a second cycle using the ice cream program. Even if it's not ice cream, you're supposed to use ice cream program. Let's try it. This is a little bit on the crumbly side. I'm almost glad because I get to test out what happens when we respin it. So I'm gonna hit the ice cream mode. See what happens. We're in new territory here.
I ain't getting no
All right, about 255 for that cycle. Now the Ninja Creamy has a separate respin function. This seems to use the ice cream function in that capacity. So here we go. Way smoother. Let's take a look at this. Much creamier on the second spin cycle, so I would say that definitely did work. But how is the consistency and how's the recipe? Here we go. Orange creamsicle flavor for sure. A bit heavy on the orange for some reason. The good news is the consistency-wise, it's perfect. I could probably tweak the recipe to make it a little better. It is orange creamsicle, but I feel like I can make it a little better with a few tweaks. But I'm glad I had one of them crumbly to see how the respin works, and in this case, it worked well. But I think I have enough now to wrap this thing up. Let's take a look at the pros and cons now. The first pro is that I did 6 recipes and all of them came out great. It's completely hands-free and simple to use and easy to clean as well. You just select a preset, hit start, and you're good to go. It's fairly small, so it could be tucked into a cabinet more easily than the Creamy could be. I think in general, it pretty much works as advertised. Now the first con I would say is that it's pretty loud. It's almost hard to stand next to it when it's in operation. A lot of their recipes seem a lot more elaborate than most people are going to want to deal with. It also takes a considerable amount of preparation, which the other ice cream makers in this category also require. One con that I didn't really touch on earlier is that it really doesn't handle mix-ins. According to the instructions, if you want mix-ins, you got to do it by hand. Other ice cream makers account for mix-ins, this one doesn't. It also doesn't really make a lot of ice cream at once. You pretty much have to prepare 2 pints in advance and that's pretty much it. The only way to get more capacity is to buy more cups. In the end, if you want a bare bones machine that doesn't take up as much space and doesn't cost as much as a Creamy, this one could be worth checking out. On the other hand, if you need more capacity, if you really are big on mix-ins, or if you want more bells and whistles, you might want to consider other options. I do think it lives up to the advertising claims and I think it provides a viable, less expensive option to the Ninja Creamy. But that's all I've got. If you've tried the Nutribullet Chill, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.